It's time to harvest potatoes, friends. Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. My name is Megan, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by because today we are harvesting all the potatoes. So before we get started, let me tell you the two spots that I'm growing my potatoes in. The first one is my GreenStalks. Now I have two 5-tier GreenStalks dedicated to just potatoes, and last year I had my largest harvest that I've ever had in my GreenStalks. It was right at 20 pounds of potatoes. So I am really looking forward to harvesting out of the GreenStalks this year. And then the other spot are my grow bags. Now, the grow bags that I used this year were the same ones that I used last year. And unfortunately last year, I did not grow a lot of potatoes in the grow bags. I was quite disappointed. However, I'm hoping that this year will be a lot better. I also want to add that I do have a separate video on everything that I use to plant my potatoes, how I planted them in the grow bags, as well as the GreenStalk. And I will leave that video down in the description below if you're interested in seeing that. All right, friends, it is evening time, which is usually the time I do my videos. However, when I was out here earlier and I was contemplating whether or not I should do the potato video earlier, I was just dripping sweat from just checking the garden and doing a little bit of pruning. So I'm like, I'm just gonna come out in the evening time. With that being said, we need to get harvesting. So we are going to start in the back. This is the pallet of the grow bags that are a trio set. You can see right here, they're connected. When I saw this on Amazon, and it is VivoSun, which is my favorite brand of grow bags, because over the years I've noticed that they've just held up, they're very durable, and they're just really good in my experience. But you can see I have 3 of the trios, and I just love how they are in 3s like that. I was a little bit concerned that once I put the soil in, they would be floppy and kind of start to get round, which you can see it does a little bit, but for the most part, I love how I put 3 of them on this pallet, and I kind of made it like my little potato patch. And then these are the tall bags that I bought, and the reason I bought them was the green bags did so good, but the green bags are a little bit smaller than these, so I went and bought larger ones thinking that they would do a lot better, but last year they just didn't. So we are going to dump these onto this blue tarp and just see how they do. And then because these are in a trio, I'm actually just going to dig the potatoes out of here. All right, so what I'm going to do is just point the camera down to the blue tarp, and I'm just going to start dumping these bags out. I'm so excited. All right, let's go get our first bag. All right. So this tag says that this is the yellow potato from the January sprouting. So if you go and see my potato video, I sprouted different potatoes, but I also sprouted them at different times, like some in January and I believe February, and I think maybe April. I can't remember actually, it's been a while. However, I did different dates of sprouting, and then I also took some of my harvested potatoes and I sprouted those as well. Now, these do have the little Velcro here. I didn't really check it though. I mean, it's cute, nice to have, but I didn't check it. Friends, look what I found. This is a grub. I don't like these little guys. This is bad news. Anyways, that's what a grub looks like. And if I remember, when this goes into the ground, I think this is what hatches Japanese beetles or something. I could be wrong. I forget things sometimes, but this for sure is a grub. These are a no-no. Well, friends, so far, I don't know. I'm not super impressed yet. So I'm gonna put this soil away and we'll get the next bag. All right, you can make this a leg workout, by the way. So good thing I didn't work out my legs today. All right, now, this one is the russets. Now, for some reason, friends, I don't know about you, but I noticed there are some varieties that just do better. And russets is one of those that just have always, I can't talk. Russets is one of those that have always outperformed other potatoes for me. Not that I don't do good with growing yellow or red potatoes, because that's really what I stick to is russet yellow and red, but russets always seem to do better. I think what I'm gonna do is pour half out because it's kind of hard to pour all the soil back in the bag and try to get this done before it gets too dark. Friends, you see this? Look at, you see what I mean by russets, that they just do better for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just need to stick with russets. Okay, friends, look at this. So I don't think this is a potato that went bad. I don't know what this is because I've had potatoes go bad before and they're mushy, but this looks like almost like snot. It's gross. So, but I want to show that to you in case you have that too. All right, so this next one is my harvest. Look at this from my harvest. Okay, so far, I would say russets and my harvest. Look at that, 2 more. Now this last haul bag, I actually have to find the pink tag because I can't find it. Oh, okay, here. Russets from November. So this was from November. Look at that, so far, so good. Now, here's an example of what I was talking about, of seeing like a potato skin that went bad. That I'm used to seeing, but the other slimy thing, I'm not. All right, I know I am sweating. It is what it is. I may have soil on my face. However, I did want to show you something before I start digging in the trio bags. All right, here's one I want to quickly show you before we start opening up the bags. So down here in the corner are the russets that were from my harvest that I started sometime in March. And then these are the yellow potatoes from the January sprouting. These are from the November sprouting. And then these really large russets are from the January sprouting. So looking at these, for the most part, I'm actually really happy with the harvest. I don't think I got this much last year from those bags. However, my harvest is showing me that I can literally just keep a couple of potatoes from my harvest, put it to the side, and just continue to regrow from those harvested potatoes, which is my goal. But these russets that sprouted in January did phenomenal compared to the russets in November. So do I need to sprout them early on in November versus just waiting till January? I probably don't. However, I can continue to experiment to see if it's still the same or if November does do better than January the following year. But the reason I sprouted different months is I wanted to see if there was a big difference from either sprouting in November, January, February, and I think I had some in March. I cannot remember. I just wanted to see if there was a big difference, so then that way I know, okay, I need to start sprouting in January because my harvest is a lot bigger from potatoes sitting and sprouting since January until planting. So this is still an experiment, but so far, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Now we're going to do the trio bags and then to the driveway for the GreenStalks. All right, friends, I'm actually going to do this quickly because the sun is going down and we still have the GreenStalks. So I'm just gonna rummage through all these bags and see what we get. And I'm going to start putting all the potatoes in this bin from back here. And then I have a second bin that I'll be putting the GreenStalk potatoes in. Okay, let me see. Oh my gosh, look at this. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, this one's not pretty. That might have been the potato I put in here, but look at this one. This is gorgeous. All right, last trio, and then we're gonna go check the green stalks. And I'm probably going to just dump the green stalks on the tarp because I am losing lighting, and we'll just look at the harvest and I'll clean up later. Okay, this is a yellow potato from January, and these two are red potatoes, November, January. Okay, friends, I am sweating like really bad. So can you imagine if I was out here during the day? I mean, it is really hot. So excuse the sweat drips and all that, but now let's go ahead and harvest the green stalk. And I think I'm gonna start wearing this on my hat when I wear hats outside, because with it being on my shirt, sometimes it comes off and all that. So I think this is a better spot. All right, let's harvest these green stalks. Okay, I want to show you one tier because we are kind of losing light out here, so I'm probably going to have to continue this into it getting dark, and then I will have to do my ending near my seed starting section in the garage so you can see the final harvest. But basically, I'm just tearing everything apart and trying to find potatoes, and so far, friends, I am really liking the green stalk so far for potatoes, and that's pretty much it. But let me show you just with, I want to say 2 tiers. This is what I've got from 2 tiers. That's it. I think this is going to be a larger harvest from the green stalks this year than last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to harvest. And if I finish before it gets dark, then I will show you the harvest from the grow bags in the backyard compared to the green stalk. All right, friends, I still have a little bit of light. So I just harvested a whole green stalk, and look at that. I know that has to be, I don't know, you know, I'm not going to pretend like I know how many pounds this is, but it seems like a lot. I'm not good at guessing pounds, but I'm out of breath. Anyways, this is really exciting. So we are going to go ahead and harvest the second one, and I'm pretty sure by then it'll be dark out. But I did want to quickly show you something. I'm not sure if you can see this. Do you see all these scratches? So I had mentioned in one of my, I think it was my backyard garden tour, that the chipmunks or squirrels have been getting into my potatoes, not just the grow bags, but also the green stalks. Because I just harvested this, which means whoever went in there was scratching and eating at this thing and just left it there. So I have found a couple of these. Thank goodness I'm still harvesting potatoes. However, I did want to quickly show this. So if you see this, it's more than likely a critter getting into your green stalk or your grow bags. I do want to quickly mention I did have GreenStalks watering system on there for the potatoes, and that was really helpful. So you just snap this on the side. They give you some clips to snap. It's super simple to assemble, and that really did help a lot as I was growing these potatoes. Doesn't want to focus on the watering system. But anyways, I really like these things a lot. All right, friends, I wanted to quickly show this top tier because there is so many leaves on here, and I think this is going to be so fun to watch. So let me pull this up so you can see all the potatoes. Hopefully there's a bunch. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. All right, and then here is the other potato on there. This top tier in this green stalk had the most beautiful leaves growing out of it. So I have to imagine, yeah, look at how beautiful these are, friends. Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm telling you, green stalks are more than likely going to be my favorite way of growing potatoes. All right, friends, it definitely got dark out, but I wanted to show you the pile of soil. I am definitely going to clean out the green stalks. I'm going to mix in some good nutrition to prep the soil for the next planting, and I think I am going to do a fall planting. All right, so even though it's nighttime, this is why I love having my seed starting section in my garage, because these lights are so bright and I could just put them on and continue to film. But friends, I really want to know how many or how much potatoes I grew in the green stalk versus a grow bag. So I'm actually going to weigh them, but let me just quickly show you the big bins of potatoes. These are from the grow bags. let's see. All right, yeah. So these are from the 4 tall grow bags, and then the trios, the 3 trio grow bags. So I will say, I feel like the tall grow bags did better this year than last year. The trios, they did okay, but I will say that so far what I'm noticing in the last couple of years that I've been growing potatoes is hands down russets do the best. Red and yellow are a hit or miss, but red actually does pretty good for me. I would say probably a little bit more better than the yellow, but I love yellow potatoes, so that's why I always grow all 3. But I may end up just doing all russets and a couple of red potatoes since they do the best, but I just want to show you, these are the grow bags. Now let me show you the GreenStalk. All right, this one's definitely heavy, friends. This is the GreenStalk. When I tell you I am excited, I'm very excited. This is heavy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly weigh this, and I'm going to let you know which one weighs more. So with the GreenStalks, we ended up with 15.22 pounds of potatoes. Last year, I was at like 19.98 or 99, so about 20 pounds. So a little less than last year, but friends, that is still a really good harvest. And I think this year I planted my potatoes a little bit later than I did the year before because the schedule this year was insane, but 15 pounds is amazing for 2 GreenStalks. Now for the grow bags. So for the grow bags, we got 9.74 pounds of potatoes. So friends, the GreenStalk is still outperforming the grow bags. However, I will say I am very excited about how much I grew in the grow bags too. Because as I shared earlier, in the past, grow bags have been a huge hit or miss, minus that one year I grew them in those really tall green bags. Again, maybe it has something to do with those bags, but because the tall black bags in the back, because they are bigger bags than the green ones I have, I think they did a lot better this year, so I think I just need to do them again next year, but I want to probably just do russets because russets seem to outperform any other potato that I grow, plus I really do love russets. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. So our grand total between the GreenStalks and the grow bags is 24.96 pounds of potatoes. I think this year's potato harvest is larger than last year's possibly. If I can find it, I will put the number down below on the screen. I think last year was like, it was 20 something, but I'm not remembering, but either way, this harvest was really good and I am very excited about it. So here's another look at all of the potatoes from the GreenStalk, and it is really heavy. So a lot of the potatoes in here were red, yellow, and russet, so it was a good mix. And I will say, I experimented this year with sprouting potatoes at different points of the year to see if one did better than the other, and quite frankly, I didn't really see a massive difference. In fact, I think sprouting them come January might actually be just as good and not having to do it back, in November. So that experiment really showed me a lot this year, and I'm glad I did it. So now I don't have to get potatoes and start sprouting until January or February. And then here is one last look of all the potatoes from the grow bags, and I am very excited about this. I am so glad I did the harvest in the evening because I'm starting to feel a little bit of a breeze. I cannot tell you how hot it is here. The humidity is just off the chain today. So anyways, I am just so glad that I harvested what I did this year, and I will just say that if you've ever tried growing potatoes and had a hard time, please do not give up, because the first couple of years I grew potatoes, minus that one time with the green large tall grow bags, I really had a difficult time growing potatoes, especially in the GreenStalks. I almost was like, am I ever gonna grow potatoes in the GreenStalks? And then last year and now this year just proved me wrong. It is literally one of my favorite ways to grow potatoes. Now, what I will do next time is probably still do the grow bags, but I think I'm going to just stick with russets for the grow bags. And then the GreenStalks, I might do russets and red potatoes. I may not do yellow potatoes because I just find that yellow potatoes don't really give me as big of a harvest as the other ones do. So I think that's what I may do. And then, as I shared earlier, I am going to put some nutrition into that soil, clean up the GreenStalks, and get it prepped and ready for the next planting. By the way, I want to quickly mention Asia from Yellow Door Urban Homestead, sweet friend of mine, and she actually harvested potatoes out of her GreenStalk as well. And I will leave that video down in the description below because she had a great harvest. And so I just want to be able to share that with you because it It can be done, friends. And I will also leave a link to her channel down below too. Well, friends, I am so glad that you all stopped by because this is one of my favorite videos to do, is harvesting potatoes, garlic. The next one is going to be onions. You probably can't see them behind me, but they are looking gorgeous. And so it is my favorite, one of my favorite videos to do because I love to grow these particular staples for my household and share my struggles with them and my journey in growing them. And potatoes is definitely one of them. I really did struggle in the beginning, and my goal is to encourage all of you because I know that when it comes to gardening, there's a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of gray areas. It's not black and white, and I'm a very black and white person. I like to know everything, the steps you have to take to get there. However, gardening is very opposite of how Megan operates. With that being said, my goal is to encourage you guys because I know it's not easy. And I do want you all to know how much I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I love turning my camera on and sharing everything that I'm doing in this garden, everything I'm harvesting, my struggles, my joys, my wins, everything, friends. And your comments are encouraging. I want you to know that I read every one of your comments and they truly mean so much to me. And I want to thank every single one of you. And I also want you to remember this, friends, before I go, and don't forget, I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and I want you to always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.